Pitches, it's your least favourite host, Mr. Mike Orvis here. You're probably wondering where season 2 is. So are we. We lost a bunch of episodes, and we lost audio for some episodes, and personal problems happened with all three members, meaning it was just absolutely impossible for us to meet up in any kind of regular fashion. Season 2 is still coming, but in the meantime, we tried to record a couple of just two of us episodes where we kind of pitch a thing each and kind of just go, that was a nice thing, deal with it. So here's one of them. I'm not sure what one this will be. It's either going to be Obi Wan Kenobi or Smash Bros, but Smash Bros might end up being an actual episode. But if it is either of those, then great. Or it might be a random thing I did with a guy called Paul Vinton, who's a very funny chap and could beat you at the wrestling. We're doing a live watch of The Room. Hopefully that's all right. I hope you don't hate me for doing this. Season 2 is coming. Keep listening. Yeah, love you. Bye.
Coming to some ears near you. In a world so like this one, you couldn't tell the difference. Geeks and fanatics engage in eternal war for the perfect film pitch. Judged by their peers, and against all odds they cry, pitch, please.
Now, hello and welcome to Pitch Please Season 2. You already know that, we're 3 episodes in. Don't know why I said that. I am the legendary beard, Mr. Miguel Orvis II, host of today's show, with a rather an intimate setting, in that I'm wearing negligee, and there's only 2 of us. With me is Daddy Cool, Daddy Cool. Oh, stop, wait a minute, it's the Daddy, Mr. Ben Fee.
Hola, amigos.
Ben Fee couldn't actually be here, so we've asked Jorge to come and do the pitch for Ben. Jorge is a local professor. You thought I was going to say janitor, didn't you? You thought I was going to play into that racial stereotype, but I didn't. Do you know what? That's on you, listener. You thought that. You're racist. He's actually a local professor at Oxford University, and he teaches English. Yeah, subversive. You didn't think that was coming, did you? Well, if you like that, you're going to like this, because now we're going to talk about Star Wars. Yeah. So the shot. Why are you laughing? That was gold. The Ben Kenobi movie is coming out. I said Ben Kenobi. That's fine. It's going to come out soon. So that's a good thing that me and Ben like. Not Ben Kenobi. I wouldn't know. I've never met him. Me and Ben Fee like Obi Wan Kenobi and like the idea that there's a standalone film. So what we're going to do to your ears right now is do a pitch. If this is your first time listening to Pitch Please, don't. Go back and listen to one where there's all 3 of us. Either the first episode of Season 3 or any of Season 3, the first episode of Season 2 or any of the episodes of Season 1 when we had our shit a little bit more together. There's just more going on now, actually. So we're doing these episodes. So there isn't such a massive gap. And Geary doesn't cancel the show out of sheer boredom. So, Ben, do you want to pitch first? The movie?
I'll kick it off.
Do that?
Yeah, man. Feel free to chip in at any point, though, because...
Why would you say that?
Because I've got such a solid, nailed pitch going down. I just want to get you involved as well. Don't you feel like you're sitting out this one? Well, okay. here's the thing with the Obi Wan Kenobi
all
movie.
About how my life got flipped.
Sorry, I gotta get that. We're not gonna do a remake of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but just starring Obi Wan Kenobi, where he goes to live on Tatooine after shit goes down. The thing with Obi Wan Kenobi
movies. What's the fucking point? What? Well, I said, well, then what's the fucking point?
The thing with Obi Wan Kenobi movie is that its fans are fans of a certain age,
worst.
Like my age, old men fans.
Yeah,
it's something that we're really looking forward to. It's a movie that's going to connect the travesties that were the prequel films with the original trilogy. It's going to bridge that gap. And that's a very important job, because at the moment, without that bridge, you can sort of think, yeah, they didn't really happen. Yeah. 1, 2, and 3, maybe it was a fever dream that someone had once, and we're just sort of getting flashes of it every now and then, like flashbacks when you're lying in bed. It's like, oh, do you remember that time that, oh, no, Obi Wan Kenobi is...
Emperor Palpatine said, do it, and then did some flips. Treason, is it? Yeah.
And when Shmi Skywalker said to Anakin, what does your heart tell you? And he said, I don't know, maybe? And everyone just died because it was so terrible. Anyway, yeah, this is now going to solidify those two trilogies. It's going to bring them together and solidify that into a septilogy? 7 films?
Ooh, fuck my life. A nonology. Try saying that. A nonology. It's really hard. That's harder than an enemy. Nonology. A nonology. Because it sounds like an analogy. A nonology would be 9 films.
Just to lay the...
it's not even late. Like, what
just to lay the audience's minds at rest. Neither of us are drunk or otherwise chemically impaired at this point.
We're not. We're really
just
not.
For some reason, I'm just talking drivel.
I was actually quite sad before recording this, so I don't know what's going on. I just can't do the brain thoughts. Maybe Callum is the master emerald to our chaos emeralds.
He's the calming force.
And he brings... because I haven't listened to your other one yet, your episode that you did without me, like Behind My Back. So I bet that's going to be really nice and calm and quite professional. It is
actually, yeah.
And then you've got me, Agent of Chaos. I'm Noel Fielding's luxury comedy. And what Callum is, when he brings that in, he's the mighty Boosh. So I'm shit when left unfettered, which is why no one listens to Gentlemanly Chats.
He's the Julian Barrett to your Noel Fielding.
Yeah, absolutely, and that makes you the what's his name, Rich Fulcher. And that's why I don't like cricket. Anyway, you were going to do a pitch
I had
like
some
5
pitch,
minutes
I
ago.
had to do. So yeah, it's
cool.
Well, nutshell, it's important. Hopefully, we'll get Ewan McGregor back. He's always said how interested he would be in doing this. He seemed to be he's seen a really good time filming the first 3 that he did. So chances are he will come back for it, which is good because he's at a good age now where he could be that kind of middle-aged Obi-Wan Kenobi. My ideas, I've got a few ideas that things I'd like to see from an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, but they wouldn't all fit in one film. Would need to spread out and do maybe 3 films.
You are the worst.
What?
You do this all the fucking time. You can't just pitch a fucking film. Either it's a rip-off of The Labyrinth, it's exactly the same film that everyone else would be expecting it, or you do this 3-film bullshit. This is what you always do. You massive
I'm
wanker.
tired.
You can't turn Obi-Wan's story into a 3 fucking film story. I reject this premise.
Fine.
Just make a longer movie.
A 7-hour film instead, with big breaks.
Directed by Scott Snyder.
With 3-year breaks.
No, Zack Snyder. Scott Snyder's the writer and very good. Zack Snyder's the not so great filmmaker. Sorry, I really like Watchmen. Zack. Sorry, mate. Carry on. Sorry.
Well,
check, please.
I don't even know what's funny.
Why are we so silly? We're just a bunch of silly boys. Right,
yes.
Go on.
So the first film. Well, sorry, that's been vetoed.
Film, yeah.
The beginning, the first 3 hours of the film.
Hang on, your first film was going to be 3 hours long.
No.
What the fuck is this?
It's going to go back to the original inspiration for the Star Wars films. It's going to go back to the Japanese cinema, the samurai films. And it's going to be very closely modelled on the Lone Wolf and Cub series.
I see. Where you go
which I know was an anime, a manga, sorry, and it's in lots of formats it's taken, but
it's a trope. It's a trope.
Yeah, tropes, totes trope. But yes, the film would be. So Obi Wan Kenobi is given the job of bringing Luke Skywalker to his new parents, Owen and Beru Lars. But the Emperor knows about these children. There's no way he doesn't know about these children. He knows about these children. He knows they exist. So he's...
Well, arguably, he killed Padme, didn't he?
So, well, that's there's an argument that he did that. He looked very closely and sort of read into it. As a film, that argument doesn't really... When you're watching the film, it's like, that doesn't really work for me, but if you want to argue at the point, then okay, maybe he did kill her, which is fucking weird. But, so the Emperor sent agents to kill this child. And kill Kenobi as well, because, why the fuck not? So they're on the run from these agents, and they get to Tatooine, and just before they can get to a docking bay, it's just of the Emperor. So you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. All the other people on the ship that were with them are dead. They've died in the crash. And there's just those two together. And they have to get from one side of Tatooine to the Lars homestead while they're being pursued by these guys. So it's just Obi-Wan Kenobi, torn, shredded a bit. He's got the big beard, and he's got Luke Skywalker as a little tiny baby just strapped to his chest. And he has to take him all the way across. And that'd be the movie. That'd be the entire film, would be him fighting off these agents.
So it's kind of like a Mad Max Fury Road, but but it's Japanese kinda, and it's like an assassin movie. I like Seven String Samurai. If you've ever watched Seven String, no one's seen Seven String Samurai.
I've not seen
because it's it's a really obscure film about a rockabilly samurai, but it's great. Watch it.
Well, it sounds good. Well, you'd get things like Jawas, you'd get the Sand People. You'd get...
Yes, because Jawas are terrifying.
Jawas could be terrifying in a
What I want is that fucking Junker, because that was a toy in the 70s that people loved.
Yeah.
That fucking Junker, right? And I just don't get it. I don't get the love for that, right? So what I want is for it to transform into a giant Jawa transformer thing, because it's big enough.
What, into a Jawa? So it transforms...
It's like a giant mech Jawa.
Like in the film?
Which sounds like Mick Jagger. But Mick Jawa.
Got those moves like Jawas. So you want in the film a Jawa Junker to morph into a mech? To what end? For what purpose? Who would it fight?
It would fight Obi-Wan.
Injustice.
He'd be running through the valleys.
And then there's
with the baby strapped to him, and there's this thing like, and we learn that secretly the Jawas are mechanical fucking geniuses.
That'd be pretty cool. But in my mind, as well as there being Jawas who scrap droids, there's Jawas that hunt people as well.
Wow. Okay.
The droid junkers, they take parts, they sell droids, they make money. The people hunters, they get food.
Yeah. So do you know that there were Jawas in? I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but that's,
please do.
This is my job. There were Jawas in Phantasm, the first Phantasm movie. Literally Jawas.
What was the context?
They were like demons.
Right.
Yeah. If you go back and watch the first, it is Phantasm with the big silver ball.
Yeah.
The tall dude. Yeah. There were literally Jawas in there.
So they're just they couldn't afford to get
they were literally costumes left over, and they got them in there. These demons will take you out of some ball. It's been a long time since I watched Phantasm, but yeah, one of my mates pointed out to me. Shout out to Kev if you're listening. You're not, but yeah. He was like, those are Jawas, and I was like, holy shit, yeah. But they were working on the same lot, and there were just these Jawa costumes left over, and they were like, yeah, demons, that'll do.
Do they speak like Jawas as well? Is it like...
No. They just there's barely any speech coming out of them, but they're clearly Jawas.
Wow. I'd like to take this moment as well to shout out to Kev as well, Not the same Kev. It's a different Kev. It might be different. It might be the same Kev. I don't know.
Yeah. We should do a new thing where at the end of every episode we do a shout out to random names. Like shout out to Carl, Florence, if you're listening, girl, you fucking got it. You are the best. Catherine, Charlotte, and Armadillo. You guys are the fucking best. Thank you so much. We'll pretend we've got Patreon and just call them out at the end of the episode.
Yeah. To all our patrons, obviously you get the normal behind the scenes footage as usual, and our gold plated scripts as well. So
Yeah.
Thanks a lot to your patrons again.
I will forward my phone notes to every one of you in email format with a WAV file of me going, nice. You can have that as a ringtone. I will allow that to happen. You'll also get a free subscription to the Beardy No Mates YouTube channel. I can offer you that right now. All you have to do is press subscribe on it and you'll have instant access to all those videos there. That's one of our partners. What? Conflict of what? Sorry, that's Carol from Legal. She's just speaking in my earpiece. No, it's fine. No, it's just... yeah, well, your mum's a conflict of interest. Fuck off. No, I said it. I'm sick of your bullshit, Carol. All right? Can't pitch a Star Wars movie. What's Lucas going to do? What do you mean the mouse is involved? I'm sorry about this, guys. Well, but fucking... Isn't he busy with Kingdom Hearts? Oh, fuck it off then. Yeah, I'd love some chips. That'd be lovely. Cheers. All right. Yeah, no worries. So I'm getting chips. that's good. So yeah, Obi Wan is a thing that you should probably keep on pitching.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. So that film would end obviously with Obi-Wan confronting the last of the agents he has to kill, killing him, and delivering the child to Beru and Owen. And then just like, without a word, just walking off into the desert. And that's it. That's his job done.
To Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
I was thinking more like Kiss, Crazy Nights.
Where will you go? I'm going to Mos Eisley. They're crazy.
Well, girls.
Mate, anything. If I get to see naked Twi'lek, I'm all over this shit, man. I'm naturally obsessed with Twi'lek. Yeah, they just got those. It's those weird tentacle heads. I don't know what it is. They make me feel wiggly inside.
To me, that would be a solid film. I mean, whether it wouldn't scratch every itch I have for an Obi Wan Kenobi film, but
Yeah.
it would scratch that itch. Kind of like, it would bring closure on how he sort of like established himself on Tatooine, how he got Luke, what his kind of relationship was with Luke and the Barus.
Yeah.
But really, the film I'd love to see, just to sort of like to double pitch this bitch, would be Obi-Wan there on Tatooine, just fucking like the crazy old man in his little hut. Kids like throwing rocks at his door and running away. Maybe one of them's Luke Skywalker throwing rocks at his door. He comes out shaking his stick and shouting at them, "You kids, get out of here!"
Why does he? He never sounded like that.
That's exactly how it sounds. That's how it sounds in the film. Have you seen Star Wars, mate?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's exactly how it sounds. Use the Force, Luke. That's exactly how it sounds.
You kids, I can't do it. I can't do it without like, hang on, from a certain point of view, you kids need to leave me alone. I can't do an Obi-Wan voice today.
Only a master of evil, Darth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Turning into William Hague.
Just
The leader of the Conservative Party.
Luke, I've become the leader of the Conservative Party.
But
It is the only thing that stands against the rebellion.
Hang on. The Empire. Never mind. Shut up.
Ben,
hurry up. Get your fucking pitch out. Jesus.
I can only apologise for this podcast tonight. But the gist of it would be he has to come out of retirement. He's a retired Jedi.
For one more job.
One more fucking job. And he's pulled out of retirement.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
By one of his old contacts. Maybe that guy from the cafe in episode 2. Do you remember that big guy was? I forgot what his name is. It's like just pure CGI. And Obi-Wan seems just so happy to see him. He's there smiling. He's like, oh,
I think maybe they're lovers.
I think they've had something in the past, maybe, and you know, they ended really well though. It was a really healthy breakup. It wasn't like one's pining for the other. It's like, you know what, man, it's not working out. And he's like, you know what, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. And they just sort of shake hands, have a big hug, and then walk away. But they're still really good mates. Went too far into their relationship there, I think. I probably couldn't need to go that deep into it. But yeah, he's pulled out of retirement to do one last job somewhere in the galaxy. And that's about as far as I've really got with that idea. They just go somewhere, they do some cool stuff, maybe make it a heist film, or is that too dumb?
Oh, yeah!
Yeah?
Surely that's what the Han Solo film's going to be, though.
I think it's going to be a giant turd, the Han Solo film.
It's too... I like the fact that they changed directors. They're like, stop it, you're making it too funny and likeable. Alright, okay. I mean, this is for Han Solo, right? You do know that. Yeah.
He's not a joker. Okay. He's a serious gentleman.
Or a smoker, or a midnight toker, for that matter. And no one's even ever called him Maurice Whitwoo.
Perfect. It's perfect. But yeah, I mean, maybe not a heist film there. But he needs to come out of retirement for one last problem. Some shit is going down in the universe that draws him out of his little hole that he's buried himself in for so long, and he gets out just to sort of, to use the euphemism, dip his wick one more time, just in the universe. I mean, that could, and this could be when he fathers Rey. Oh no, sorry, fathers Rey's parents. Not both of them. That's weird. Yeah. Not both of them. Just one of them.
The strongest Jedi. You learn that the strongest Jedi are born from incest. They're like Targaryens.
Yeah, that could actually be canon, though. That could actually be legitimate.
I don't think Star Wars is quite ready to have a little dip into the incest bucket. If I'm honest, that ladle firmly belongs to Game of Thrones, mate.
But that could sort of, because I'm assuming this film's going to be after, or it definitely will be after episode 8, episode 9, maybe.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have to be, but I mean, it's probably the most interesting part of his life is when he fucks off after the Clone Wars.
Yeah, well, possibly. I mean, because this is going to be him fucking just by himself on a planet for a long time.
Fucking.
So
well, is he? Was he on the planet by himself for a long time?
Maybe not. I mean, the film I'm thinking of probably would take him off planet to do stuff, but he would need to be there fairly regularly to keep an eye on Luke. That's surely his whole point of being there, is to keep an eye on Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Although,
well, do you know? Have you read the comics at all? Because some of mine goes into a little bit of the comics. I think I mentioned this before. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did on like another podcast. But Luke finds the comic, the Star Wars comic, the official Marvel that is
the new
canon. It's just after the events of A New Hope, and before I stopped reading it because buying single issues is a pain in the arse. Luke was he was searching for Obi-Wan's old holocron.
Yes.
And he found a holocron of like what, and I read an episode. That's one of the things I was going to do today is read this comic. I know it's literally in a stack behind me. I know it's got to be in there somewhere, but anyway, it's and it is about like he tried to get involved in Luke's life. And sort of defend him, but then he realised he had to kind of be a hermit because introducing the Force back to Tatooine was a really dangerous thing and was garnering too much attention.
That's pretty cool. I think I have read part of that. Is that where there's like another Wookiee bounty hunter searching for him as well? And was that
yes.
other ones in the tie-in.
That I think so. Again, I read it when it first came out and haven't read it since. Because I was like, oh, I'll get all of them and then get it in trade, and I just haven't. I should probably read it again and then sell them off. But anyway,
do you want to have a bash at yours then? And see what you've got under your...
yeah. Is that... So how does your film end,
the second one? I don't know. Everyone dies, just like Rogue One.
It makes no canonical sense. And then I woke up and it was all a dream. Okay.
They're all
Thanks,
eaten
Obi-Wan.
alive. The bad guy has some kind of ray which increases your midichlorian count, and the midichlorians eat you from the inside.
Stop saying that
Boom!
word.
Nailed it.
That midi-chlorians is the geek N-word.
I disagree on so many levels.
What's the geek N-word then? Don't
Probably
say no.
Highlander 2. Highlander 2.
Oh. Right. Okay. So we're gonna have a little bit of crossover because my film also starts with Luke getting with him getting Luke to Tatooine.
Bonzo.
And it also starts with the bounty hunters being employed to fucking kill him. I want the film to open fucking mentally. Like, we literally, oh, it's got a twin, blah, 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 whatever the fucking end of the third one is. I blacked out for most of that. But the end of the third film, they say, oh, she has a twin, blah, blah, you've got to go and take her to you've got to take him to Tatooine. So he starts on his journey. And I want that journey to be like the first 10 to 15 minutes of the film. And it's just going to be action-packed. It's like we maybe start the film with him coming off of a space train into Tatooine, or coming off of a ship, and then people start spotting him, and it's all a little bit like Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, where there's fucking everyone's spotting everyone. You see all these cameos from famous bounty hunters from various bits. Dengar's fucking there for no reason, and you've got load of guys from Jabba the Hutt's dynasty. And maybe fucking should we throw Boba Fett in there? Well, Boba would be too young at that point, so Jango Fett's dead. Okay, no Fett. Maybe some random Mandalorian.
How about an unhelmeted Boba Fett? He hasn't yet earned.
Well, he's still a kid.
Well, he hasn't yet earned the helmet. He'd probably be right.
He's still
early teens. I reckon he could get into it.
Did Jango Fett die? I thought Jango Fett died in the third
second
film.
one.
Did
Number
he not die
2.
in the third film? Oh, okay. So yeah. Oh, okay. So he's fuck it. All right. Yeah, we've got a really young Boba Fett.
He could be the partner of Dengar.
There'll be some
kid.
Yeah,
partner.
there'll be some wisecrack about his jetpack not working because the Sarlacc thing. Anyway, yeah. So fucking he fights him. Blah blah blah. Big fight scene. You see him in hiding. He's hiding from fucking everyone, keeping his thing. He's using Jedi mind tricks. You do not want to see me. You never saw me, and all that fucking nonsense. And then he gets Luke there, and he's like, I must stay in Tatooine, but while I'm here, I have work to do. And I don't know why he sounds like one of the Beatles, but he does. And he wants to. He now has time to grieve, and we'll see that. He gets to his little home. He's given bed and board, for want of a better expression. You see him. He's dropped off the baby. That's all epic. He then gets into his house, and someone's like, "Oh, you'll find it. It'll be one of those fucking Watto guys, the fucking flying dudes with the big noses." And they're like, "You'll find it very good here. It is very, very cheap." And he's like, "Yes, well, here's 10 years in advance." And he gives him fucking. He's like, "Oh, a big spender." He's like, my only condition is that you leave me alone. And he's like, "I leave you alone," and fucking whatever, racist. And then he'll sit down, and then everything that's happened to him kind of sinks in, the death of Qui-Gon, and the atrocities committed during the Clone Wars. He kind of sits there and he's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, I must bring balance to the Force. And he knows that Anakin is he can feel that he's still alive, and he can feel a darkness in the Force. And he's like, I must bring balance to the Force. I must regenerate the Jedi Order, because everyone was wiped out due to Order 66. So then we get the first the first half an hour of the film ish. This is just going to be like moments in his life, but it's going to be timelined better than like Fantastic Four. He tries to start a faction of Jedi Sentinels, and you see him going out across. Maybe he pays Boba Fett. That'd be fucking delicious, to watch over this house. And he's like, you need to watch over this house for a year. Nothing must happen to this house, and it's the house of Luke Skywalker. And he's like, you must watch over this house, and he pays him in fucking like megabucks, and Boba's like, I'll do it, all right. Or maybe he finds a couple of old clone troopers that would still respect General Kenobi, that are hiding out on Tatooine. Maybe there's a group of them or whatever, and then he's like, look after this house for a year. So this gives him a year to travel various planets and pick up Jedi, people who are Force sensitive, while staying under the cover of under the watchful eye of the Empire. So he's doing this very, very secluded and in secret. And he gets 5 or 6 kids. Some of them are varying ages. He's like, you're a motley crew, but you'll do. And he starts training them in the ways of the Force, and he explains to them that they're going to be the Sentinels. And he's at his time, he's got all these kyber crystals, and they're all yellow lightsabers. Like, you are going to be the Sentinels. You are going to be the start of the new Jedi Order. Blah 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 blah. I want to put in like he's training them up, and he's really proud of them, but he's worried about what they're going to do, because none of them seem as devoted as he remembers the Jedi being. So he gives them, like how the Amish have a week to go mental. He's read in a book somewhere, or that that's a good thing to do with a Padawan. It tests their faith. Give them a week out in the wilderness and see what they do. See if they come back, they are true Jedi. If they don't, they should be eliminated. These guys go out, and none of them come back. And he's like, I failed. But he can feel that they're all still on the planet. Like, no one's tried to leave. And then 2 weeks go by, and like one of them, like, I don't know, one of the girls or something, comes back. She's Twi'lek, just for my own weird fetish, early 20s, whatever. But she's come back, and she's in like really skimpy outfit. It's like, what happened to your robes? And she was like, oh, they were taken from me when I started working for the Hutts. And he's like, what? He's like, we needed money so that we could. We got in debt with the Hutts. We fought. We wanted to test our skills. We fought in some kind of like legal fighting thing, and they bet money on each other, and it all went wrong, and they started working for the Hutts. But now, like, most of them enjoy doing that work for the Hutts, because they're getting famous, and they're getting notoriety in on Tatooine and in Mos Eisley, and they've got like a bar. They've got a table at that bar, the fucking bar. So yeah, it's basically the reason I'm adding this story is because Star Wars is a series of cycles, and we don't know what happened with the Knights of Ren, but I imagine that Luke trained them. It follows on from my Star Wars 9 pitch that the Knights of Ren were trained by Luke, and then they all went bad. So these Sentinels, the new Jedi Sentinels, were trained by Obi Wan to try and restore balance to the Force, and they went rogue. They were tempted by the dark side. They were given the freedom. They didn't have the discipline that was needed, because one of Obi-Wan's biggest problems has been teaching discipline, because Qui-Gon Jinn never taught him discipline, and he never taught Anakin discipline. If he had taught Anakin discipline, it would have been a very different prequel trilogy. They go bad, and he finally gets them all. He goes into to Jabba and has words with him. It's a very tense, but using diplomacy and his ruggish good looks and his big old beard, he says, like, here you go, I will do some work for you, but I need them back. I need them all back with me. So he gets them all back. Most of them are kind of, he's convinced most of them that it's right to follow the Jedi path, and you've had your fun, but come on, let's go back. I can teach you more. You need to set the universe right. And he talks all bar like one of them back into coming back, and then they're all eating and partying and like in good spirits, and Obi-Wan's looking over him like a proud parent, like I'm glad to have you all back. And then one of the one that wasn't going to comes back, and he puts his lightsaber down and he's like, I'm sorry I doubted you, Master. And he's like, oh, it's fine, let's party like it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And so they're all eating and everything's nice and blah, blah, blah. And you start to see the dual suns of Tatooine set. And Obi-Wan walks off on his own. And he's like consulting with himself. And he hears a voice, and the voice is Qui-Gon. He's like, Qui-Gon's like, you know what you've got to do. They can't be left. They can't be trained. They'll turn worse than Anakin ever did. And Obi-Wan's like, you're right, but they're too dangerous to be left alone. So you have this crisis of confidence. You can see the pain in Obi-Wan's face, and then you see him walk up the crest of a hill. You see the dual sun setting, and you hear that theme that you hear when Luke's making his big decision about
Luke's
his life.
theme.
Yeah, is it Luke's theme? Oh, okay, so it's like na 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 na, and then instead of the normal end, it goes minor, and it's like da na 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 na. Violin plays like a single note there. Obi-Wan turns on his lightsaber and jumps down into the crest, and you just hear the sounds of lightsaber
Holy
fights
shit.
and people screaming.
What?
Yeah.
This is dark
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah. And he kills them. He fights all of them, and he kills them because he can't have them. He can't have them going bad. He can't have what happened with Anakin happen again.
That's crazy.
And they're too dangerous. So he then goes into hiding. And he's like, I can't have any interaction with the outside world. He goes back to the galactic troops that were watching over the house, and they're like, oh, we've done so well. And he's like, you're gone, don't worry. And then he's like really mean to them. Say your purpose is meaningless. The war is over. We lost. And just like completely disheartens them, and they walk off, and they hate him, and they're like, fucking rah. Cut to 10 years later. Cut a long story short, Obi-Wan wants to join Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn's found out how to become a Force ghost, and he's been trying to gather information about becoming immortal because he wants to live to see a world where the Force is in balance, and he doesn't think he's going to live naturally long enough to see that happen, because he can feel Anakin getting stronger every day. So he goes on a journey to find... so he goes to Coruscant, and he finds Yoda, Master Yoda, who went into hiding. And struggled to find me, you did. Things like that. And they start talking about immortality and becoming a Force ghost. And he talks about how you must find balance in yourself. And there's a great darkness in you, and then he explains about the Padawans and what happened, and he's like, much trials you will have to face your darker side, you will, blah, blah, blah. Obi-Wan travels to the first Sith temple and goes to collect a fragment of a dark kyber crystal, which I think is like the canon way that you do it. But anyway, you have to fight a shadow version. This shadow version of Obi-Wan Kenobi is fucked. Like, I don't know how, but I want to make him really creepy, like fucking Del Toro levels of creepy. Maybe like some kind of no eye thing. I don't know. Just creepy and dark and merciless, and what would have happened if Obi-Wan had fallen to the dark side? What kind of horrors would Obi-Wan have committed? And he's a dual wielder. He's dual wielding these lightsabers, and maybe he like General Grievous has got like a bandolier of broken lightsabers from the Jedi and Sith that he's killed. Maybe he becomes like this megalomaniac this shadow version of Obi Wan Kenobi. And Obi Wan Kenobi fights him, and eventually he wins, and he gets a piece of the shadow, and he kind of understands that he's now defeated his dark side. He's centered himself, and now he goes to the Jedi Temple. He gets the part of the holocron, the bit of understanding. He combines the two, and he understands what he's got to do. So he goes back to Coruscant and he says, Yoda, I've discovered it. And Yoda's like, counted on you, I was, blah, blah, blah. Figured it out myself, I did. And he's like, did you fight your shadow version? He's like, many years ago. Because that's canon. That goes back to the end of the Clone Wars. Like, Yoda fights a fucking shadow Yoda and learns how to Force Ghost from Qui-Gon Jinn. So now, but it's your own journey you have to take. Yoda wasn't just going to hand that down to Obi-Wan with all that darkness that was inside him. They have a final conversation, and just before Obi-Wan's going to leave, Yoda's like, he's getting stronger. And they're referencing Anakin. He says, and he'd say this in Yoda-ese, but I'm not going to bother. It's like something along the lines of like, if you kill him, it will release all your anger and hate. You will experience too much of that emotion, and you'll turn. There will be no immortality for you. You need to find another way. You must never interfere directly with the path of the Force. Now that you have brought balance in yourself, you must not interfere. And then we spend a lot of time looking at what this means is, because Obi-Wan's older, he's been getting progressively older. Like this journey's taken years and years and years of his life. Like sort of 10, 15 years. So now he is getting old. You can see it in his face. He's getting old. He's trying to. You have to find some way of making him look like a cross between Ewan McGregor and Alec McGuinness. And Alec Guinness.
Alec Baldwin.
I've forgotten. It's not Alec Baldwin. Shut up. You know how I am with names. We'll go back to Ezra Miller. But yeah, you see like this through special effects and whatever. You make him look like this amalgamation. You still see a little bit of who he was, but yeah, you see the pain of him in his house, getting older and practicing, balance and trying to keep an even keel. And you see him looking at the lightsabers of the Sentinels and being reminded of what he could become, and looking at maybe Luke comes in on him in a couple of days, and maybe you do get the the kids throwing rocks at him, and he uses his Force, and he's like, "Fuck, I've got to stay." And eventually, one of the kids, maybe Luke, turns up with like a really young Luke, like a fucking 10-year-old Luke, turns up, and he's like offers him some fucking blue milk and pie. And he's like, I'm sorry that we broke your window, mister, with our rocks. He's the only one that's come back and apologised. And he's like, what's your name, mister? And he's like, my name's Ben Kenobi. And he's like, oh, okay. And then they sit and they eat like pie and drink milk and shit. And then you hear fucking Aunt Beirut, she's turned up on the land speeder and be like, wonder where you got off to. And he was like, oh, I made a new friend. And she's like, sure you did. And then, he closed the door and he's really sad. But yeah, carries on. You somehow then transfer from that to him on it's the Star Destroyer, isn't it? It's not the Death Star. He's on the Star Destroyer. Yeah, he's not on the Death Star at that point. He's on the Star Destroyer. And he's facing Darth Vader. And they're fighting in, like, you see it from different angles, but their movements are take for take exactly what happened.
That was the Death Star, wasn't it?
And you can see...
The battle between Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, that was the Death Star.
Was that on the Death Star?
Because that's where Leia was being held. She was being held on the Death Star. Yeah, because she got a front row seat for Alderaan being destroyed.
Oh, of course you fucking did. Yeah, I'm such a dickhead. I don't know why I thought it was a Star Destroyer. They do go into a Star Destroyer at some point.
Sure they do.
Yeah, I'm. Right. Anyway, sorry, I've made a massive Star Wars fail. But yeah, you basically realise that both of them are pulling back. in that fight, which is why the fight looks terrible. They're both pulling back. They're both testing each other, and that maybe there's a bit more dialogue, but it's hushed, and you could only have heard it if you were like this close to them. And he's saying like, don't try it, Anakin. Come on, you know, you were my, you know, maybe he says it again. Don't you remember you were my brother? And he's like, I feel nothing for you now. And then he realizes that he can't kill him, and the only way for him to truly be alive long enough to see balance brought to the Force is to let Anakin kill him. And they're fighting a little bit more, and then Luke's like, no, or whatever. Luke's like running over, and he's like, you know, time's running out. He says to Anakin like, time's running out, and Vader looks at him and is like, as you wish, and then cuts him down, and then you get no. Maybe then fade to black and open with, I don't know, maybe you go through the whole him being a Force ghost thing, and you see him at the end of Jedi. I haven't quite worked that bit out, but yeah, the whole thing is that the question that you are left with at the end of this is, was Obi-Wan inherently selfish in his quest for being a Force ghost, for being immortal? You know, he could have intervened a lot more and foregone his immortality. Maybe he could have beat Darth Vader in that fight. Or was he doing what was right and what he knew was going to bring balance to the Force? And that's what I want ultimately, there to be like this kind of dichotomy that's presented to the viewer, where they go, oh, I don't know. Was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? I don't know. And I think that would be really interesting to explore.
It's a good ending, and that was far more thought out than my little bit of brain fart earlier. There's a lot going on there, though. I mean, if you think about how that story goes, that story arc, you've got, he brings Luke back, and that's an action film at the beginning. You've got
that's like 10 minutes.
Then you got him gathering the crap Jedi.
There'll be loads of action.
Yeah, but that's like a whole story there, which ends on a real dark note, and then it.
That's your midpoint of the film. I'm thinking this is going to be like almost a Lord of the Rings. It's going to be a long film.
And then we're
talking sort of 2 and a bit hours.
He's back to his hut, do some research, goes to Yoda, talks to him, goes to the Sith temple, kills a dude, back to Yoda again, and then he's off back home again somewhere else. There's loads going on there. When you were talking, I was thinking, I'd love to sort of...
This could be in 3 films.
Why not 4? When I was talking about my pitch earlier, when you were talking, I was also not listening to you at all. I was just thinking about my own stuff, as I want to do. And it wouldn't be quite as thought out and well developed as that. But I would love to see a story. I mean, this would quite easily fit in how he has sex as well, and how he has the kid, and why the kid that he has is so why there's problems there. Because there's clearly...
Ben, I'm right with you, and we never... I'm going to answer the question that you're about to ask. Yoda doesn't actually have a gender, so he could fuck Yoda, and that baby would be special.
There we go. Wrapped up. Nailed it. What I was thinking would be a sort of a Star Wars version of The Man Who Tried to Kill Hitler.
Okay.
In which the thing that brings Obi Wan Kenobi out of retirement is just after, it's like, for example, in your story, he gets to Tatooine, fights off those guys, and is sitting in his house. But instead of coming to the conclusion that I need to restart the Jedi Order, he thinks the Jedi are dead, and it's massively his fault. He trained Anakin. He could at any point have seen Anakin's dark side and curbed it, or just taken him out. He didn't, and now the universe is controlled by a fascist empire, and everyone he knew, like literally every single person he knew, is either dead or on the run. So he's despondent. He takes his lightsaber, he destroys it. And he suddenly thinks, you know what, fuck it, okay.
Oh yeah, fuck! He's got to lose his lightsaber, isn't he? Oh no, that's fine. It got lost in Bespin. Ignore me.
Yeah, he smashes that up, and like in yours, he pays some guys to look after Luke and says, you know, that's my job dispersed of there. These guys here are going to look after him. I've got plenty of cash. They'll keep getting money every so often, and that'll be that's Luke sorted. It's a better life than I could have given him. I couldn't look after him. I'm just an old man. These people here, these warriors, these clone troopers, they can look after him for the rest of his life. Bang, done. He leaves Tatooine, travels to Coruscant. It takes ages. There's all kinds of shit. Travelling through Empire space is like travelling through Nazi Germany. There's stops everywhere.
Yeah.
There's paranoia. There's suspicious glances everywhere. He managed to get in finally through the help of a former Padawan who's now part of the Resistance. She never finished her training, so any Force abilities in her have just fizzled off or are not present at the moment.
Ah, the old Force
fizzle. It's a dangerous thing you got to look after with these Padawans. She's not developed, not trained, and she thinks that Obi-Wan can train her. She can help. He was a famous Jedi Knight, a famous Jedi Master even, so he could train her. So that's why she clings on to him. She's like, you can help me. And in return, she helps to get him to Coruscant. Checkpoints all the way to the Imperial Palace, where Darth Vader will be. And Obi-Wan Kenobi's plan is to assassinate Darth Vader. He created this monster, as far as he's concerned, and he's going to destroy it. So it's a very tense, very emotional journey for him. He knows it's a suicide mission, and he is happy for that to be the case. If he can take out Darth Vader and stop this menace to the universe, he'll do it. And in the meantime, this kind of intensity of his, this kind of despondency attracts this woman, and they just fucking get it on. And in the scene where they get on, we see everything. We see full. Because Ewan McGregor, he would be down for some full frontal Obi-Wan Kenobi. He would jump at the chance. Like, yes, I'm gonna show my penis on film again. He'd be happy with that. And then so he gets to the palace. She helps him to get there. She's really stoked for this. She's like, yes, we're gonna deliver a blow against this fascist regime. We're gonna bring freedom to our people again. Everyone's there with the gun. Can't take the shot. The darkness that's been rising in him this whole time, this the dark side that he's been willingly grasping and hugging to his breast, trying as hard as he can to embrace this dark side so he can muster up the courage and muster up the ability to kill his brother. It's just not there. He can't do it. So he just throws the gun down, walks away. She's there shouting behind him, "You coward! You're a coward, Obi-Wan!" And he just leaves. And that would pretty much be the end of it. He just goes back to Tatooine and just sits as a hermit, guilty and alone, and just knowing that the reason why the universe is in the state it's in is because him and his inability to act then and to act now. Just a shattered ruin of a man. And she goes on to have this child, but of course she's living in a fascist society. She's instantly captured in the Imperial Palace when Obi-Wan doesn't hit the shot. She as he walks away, she's captured, goes to jail. The child that she has is born in jail. That child that they have is born in jail, sold off as slaves here and there, and then sold onto a scrapper on Jakku, and her name's Rey. It's pretty fucking dark, though, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the big question in Force Awakens is, why would Rey's parents?
Who the fuck's that guy?
Fuck's that guy? Why would Rey's parents just leave her on a planet? Like, they go, bye, see ya. Because she seems to think that they're coming back for her. She seems to think that someone who cares for her is coming back. So she thinks that this is fucking classic J.J. Abrams here. Fucking, just, here's a mystery. I have no intention of solving this whatsoever. Here's some more mysteries. I don't know why that's the case. Do you know, but just a segue, in Lost, this is what really pissed me off about Lost. Sorry, the first thing that pissed me off about Lost. J.J. Abrams' old show. I found out that, like, end of season 1, I thought, wow, this is an amazing show. Then I found out that the character of Jack, the main character, Jack, was supposed to have died in the first episode. And it's like, you've got no fucking clue what you're doing. This is just make it just go along. It completely destroyed my faith in storytellers everywhere. Oh. But sorry, that was a bit of a segue there. But yeah, okay, cool. I really liked yours. I thought that was fantastic. It was pretty much the entirety of his life after episode 3.
Yeah,
really. I honestly, I would be very upset watching a film where Obi Wan Kenobi murders his students, just like Anakin Skywalker murdered the younglings.
Mm-hmm.
But man, all of Star Wars is cycles. Yes.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing about Star Wars. So having Obi-Wan try and create. Oh, let's make the Jedi Council again because that's fallen. Like it was, it had the Old Republic and then that fell, and then it had the fucking whatever the New Republic. I don't know. Then you got the Jedi Order, then it fell. Then Jedi Order comes back up, then it fell. So Obi-Wan's just trying to, he's stuck in this cycle. The Force is a fucking endless cycle until you bring balance to the Force. That's my opinion. That's my overarching theme about Star Wars in general is that everyone is stuck on an endless, unsatisfying loop until you bring balance to the fucking Force.
So are you fine with the Starkiller base in Force Awakens being so very similar to the Death Star?
100%. Yeah. Evil will take the same form as it always fucking does. It was built by a dude who's obsessed with Darth Vader.
Just bigger and bigger balls every time.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's fucking it's exactly. It's just we're gonna use the sun to power it. All right, fucking you crack on, mate. The rebellion will break you down because evil can't win and good can't win. Neither of them can win. You have to have balance, and the people that can channel the all-unifying Force need to understand that you need balance. And the people that do understand that died and became Force ghosts. They no longer, with the knowledge they have, can help the living in so much as they can give advice, but they can't give away the secrets of becoming like a Force ghost. But if you, in life, were to balance the Force, then you're able to crack on with it. What I tried to kind of pastiche is the role of Gandalf or some of the guys from I can't remember what they're fucking called, whatever angels are in the Lord of the Rings, where they're taught you cannot interfere with the affairs of humans, or any sort of that kind of trope. Because I really like the idea of if you're truly going to bring balance to the Force, you all need to die or you all need to fuck off. Because there's always a Force user behind every uprising, be it the Rebellion, be it the Empire. Every Empire has had a Force user running everything from behind it. Every Rebellion has had a Force user or someone Force sensitive running everything from the background, or at least playing a major part in that uprising. If those Force sensitive people fucked off, people would have less things to fight about because the leaders wouldn't be fucking having anything to fucking moan about.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Ipso facto, I wanted as much repetition without it being repetition in my Obi-Wan movie, and I've always loved the idea of that Luke's theme, if it's Luke's theme, and then instead of going and it being triumphant, that fucking just that shift into minor. Because I just think that as a piece of music is incredibly powerful, and people will be expecting they're seeing Obi-Wan walk up onto the hill and you're like, oh cool, he's having his moment of redemption. He is going to train them, everything's fine. Holy shit, lightsaber out, he's fucking murdered them.
What I prefer, I think, just to put my sort of aura in, I prefer if instead of having a group of Sentinels, he only chose one new Padawan. From the Jedi that are still out there, he finds a Force sensitive kid and takes him in and trains him just like he trained Anakin.
Yeah,
and then the child grows and he grows resentful of Obi-Wan, just like Anakin did, and he sees all the same things going on, and he can run away and come back, and Anakin can Obi-Wan can realize that this kid is happening again. This kid is just, he's tried to train another Jedi and recreate the Jedi Council slowly, one Jedi at a time. That's what he needs. Really, he needs another master next to him to start this. So one at a time, perhaps. And he realizes that this child is growing to be the same as Anakin. There's something wrong with the Force, and this child is becoming the same. And so then he kills him. Yeah, the way that he should have killed Anakin in the first place. He kills this kid. Oh, that's
okay.
I feel as though we're bringing a lot of dark energy to these pitches. in my mind, when I first thought, Obi Wan Kenobi film, it's adventure, it's light, it's funny, but no, they've all been just really dark and murdery, and just
good,
unsatisfying for all the characters.
Good, do it,
Excellent,
do it.
That's Mr. Burns from Simpsons. That's not Palpatine. Different character.
Either or, they're all the fucking same. Anyway, okay, cool. Well, what happens now then? There's no one to vote. What did you and Callum do? Did you just go, those were nice, bye?
Well, we did more collaborative thing. We both sort of chipped it into one massive pitch that we both put our life seed into.
Okay, well that's everything. What me and Ben have done is going to be across 6 movies. The Kenobi sex trilogy.
Yeah, he's the new Bond. He's the new Bond. Have a new actor play him every few films.
John Cleese plays the final version of Obi-Wan.
That wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. It would be fucking awful.
Have you seen John? No, have you seen John Cleese in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
No.
He was unrecognisable in that. He plays Victor Frankenstein's mentor, his tutor, and it's like, is that John Cleese playing a straight role?
Yeah,
and he's fan. I would definitely recommend watching it just for his performance. It's phenomenal.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, on that recommendation, I think it's probably time to wrap up. We have waffled on for about an hour.
Yes.
Let us know on Twitter or elsewhere what you thought of this pitch and who you thought won, or what your idea for Obi-Wan would be. An Obi-Wan, tell me, or an Obi-2, or an Obi-3, whatever you feel like pitching to us. You can comment below if you're listening to this on YouTube. I think it's on SoundCloud. If it is, cool. If you're listening on iTunes, then you can always message Geek. What is it?
What do you want about
the email?
It's geek-pride. Wait, is it? No.
What's the email address?
It is.
It's on the end. Well, it'll be on the end. It's fine. Yeah. Why are we doing this now? Yeah. It's going to be on the end of this podcast. I'm just wrapping up.
On the spot.
Yeah, it's fine. So, as sure as the twin moons of Tatooine mean murder, we'll be back next week in your ears. It might be a bit of a while for us, but we'll be back soon next week for you in your ears, doing more pitches. Let us know what you're thinking about these new kind of episodes, the more collaboration. I still want us to go head to head, but it's literally just been time constraints. People have been super busy or depressed. Sorry, everyone. Right. Well, anyway, I've been Mike Orvis.
Live long and prosper.
He's been Benjamin Fee, old Ben Kenobi.
Nice.
And I will catch you soon. Do we have a sign off? Did we do a sign off?
I think our sign off was pitch please.
I'm really proud of the fact that we did a whole Star Wars pitch and didn't even mention blackface once. Oh no! Oh, we've done it now! Bollocks!
So that was another lovely episode of Pitch Please. Wasn't that good? Wasn't it? Right in your ears. We should be back next week with another episode. If we're not, you're not my dad. I'm sorry. If you'd like to comment about any of the episodes, then you can email in at content@geek-pride.co.uk. That's content@geek-pride.co.uk. Make sure the subject heading is Pitch Please. Don't put it as anything else, or Geary will just imagine that it's spam. He gets so many charities asking him for... He's got this Scrooge McDuck style vault full of money, and he won't give a single penny of it to charity. We think that on Christmas Day he's going to be visited by 3 ghosts, but we're not sure. But bye.